Gruesome Magazine.
Hello, once again, I'm Doc Rotten, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in streaming and video on-demand horror movies. Each week, my co-hosts Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Dreher, and I will take a look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. And tonight, we are happy to return to Chucky, the TV series, streaming now on USA and SYFY, episode 4. This is going to be a blast, but let me introduce the crew, starting off with the one and only Jeff Mohr. Jeff, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm great. And I'm so happy she didn't die.
Are you? All right. Also joining us this week is Crystal Cleveland, the Living Dead Girl. How you doing, Crystal?
Way to call out spoilers.
Yeah.
Jeff. Way to just. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. All right. I shouldn't have said that. But it's like the first scene in the episode. Yeah.
If you don't see a body.
Oh, okay. I see. I wasn't thinking she necessarily was going to die by that, but I thought she could die in the episode.
I see where you went.
No.
I didn't even think about that. Oh, man.
She didn't die in the last episode.
Rounding out the crew is the one and only Dave. Dave, how you doing, bud?
Hello. Yeah, you can't tell who's going to die in this one.
Mm-mm.
No, but
you
somebody
just don't
will.
know. Because Chucky just don't give a fuck. That's just kind of where we're at. He just don't care. He's ruthless.
Yeah, but he needs to make some better choices on weapons. I'm saying, but we'll get there.
Okay.
All right, let's welcome special guest host, award-winning filmmaker Christopher G. Mohr. How you doing, sir?
I'm glad I got my booster shot before I saw this episode. Because I think I'd be a little bit scared getting a needle stuck in me.
Oh my!
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Oh my! All right, you are doing great, sir. It's good to see you. All right, let's. What we're going to do.
Normally, it's not so great to see me.
What we're going to do is we're going to dive into the episode. We're going to give our first impressions. That will be spoiler free, and then we're going to discuss it. That will be spoiler filled, and then we're going to wrap things up with our final thoughts, our score, the 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. You all right? But before we do, we hope you enjoy not only this review but many others that we have on the site. If you want to help us out, it's easy and free to do. All you have to do is hit the subscribe button or the like button or share with a friend, and it will do wonders, and we thank you very much. And of course, above all, we want to hear your thoughts. Leave your comments down below. All right, what are we talking about? We are talking about Chucky, episode 4, Just Let Go. This episode aired on SYFY US Network on November 2nd, 2021. This is the series we didn't think would work. Holy cow, and we're reviewing 4 episodes. That's got to tell you something in and of itself. All right, the director is Leslie Libman. The writers are Mallory, Westfall, and Kim Garland. It's created by Don Mancini. The cast includes Zachary Arthur, Devon, Björgvin Arneson, Olivia, Alvin, Lynn, Theo Bruins, and Brad Dourif, among others. Synopsis: somebody's stalking the hospital where survivors of Chucky's latest attack are recuperating. Meanwhile, Jake's bond with Devon intensifies as he teams up with an unlikely ally to outwit Chucky. And who could that ally be? All right, let's find out what we think. And we're going to start off with Crystal. Crystal, what was your first impression of Chucky episode 4?
Well, okay, so this was an interesting episode. It felt different for some reason from the others. Maybe because, we really just deal with 2 scenes in this episode, right? Well, we do have the flashbacks, but that's a whole nother thing. Like the hospital and then the burned home. So kind of delves into the relationship between Jake and Lexi. And I wasn't sure how I felt about it. To be honest with you, I was like, she needs to go still. Like, I just can't be okay with this girl. Like, everything she says is just, I mean, is one person that ignorant? Unfortunately, yes. I mean, I think we know that now after COVID. We know the truth. It's just like, how was I supposed to know you were going to be so mad? It's like, what the Rack, seriously.
Doing
But
it to make him mad.
yeah,
Uh-oh.
She's speechless.
She's speechless. Jeff's gone speechless too.
Yeah.
Oh no, what's going on?
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Chucky's
I can.
picking them off.
Chucky's
Am I here?
one by one.
Am I
You're
here?
here,
Oh my
you're-
God, I'm
you're
gonna
back.
rush. I'm gonna rush. Okay, so I enjoyed it, but it didn't feel as intense as some of the other episodes for me. But I still really liked it. And I don't think there were any super standout shots in this episode like in some of the previous ones. So it was good. Not my favorite episode, though.
Yeah, there might be one standout shot. We'll talk about that in a little bit. All right, Dave Dreher, you're up next. What was your first impression of Chucky episode 4?
Well, I have to say, I'm really kind of impressed with how entertained I am by this series so far. I keep waiting for them to drop the ball, and they don't. They just keep lobbing us good passes here. I like this. I disagree with Crystal a little bit. I really kind of like the character development here. I like the bromance we got blossoming between Jake and his little friend, and that unlikely alliance to me does not seem all that unlikely at all. I mean, you can see it coming from 8,000 miles off.
Yeah,
Where things are going. It's telegraphed really almost from the first episode. I'm just really enjoying this. I got to say, this is one of my top 3 favorite shows each week that I look forward to checking out.
Oh,
So,
wow.
good job.
Wow. Well, curious what the other 2 are. All right, Jeff Mohr, sir, you're up next. What was your first impression of Chucky episode 4?
Well, as a newly converted Chuckyite, I guess I'm loving it. At your guys' recommendation, I went back and caught up on all the films, and I'm just having fun with the whole Chucky thing. And it wasn't just a one-hit pony; it was a one-trick pony. It had different progressions all the way through. So, and I'm liking what's going on here. I'm kind of like what's going on with Lexi too, in that, yeah, she didn't magically become a nice person. She's still really self-centered and doesn't really care about Jake, but she does care about her little sister, and she has realized that, yeah, it's all true. So now she's got to do something about it.
Yep.
And some nice groove this time.
Nice. All right, Christopher G. Mohr, sir, what is your first impression of this particular episode?
Yeah, I'm really loving this series, and and I think we definitely have. We also have a little bit more information in regards to Junior and his father too. We're starting to get into that, delving into that. How he's trying to pressure his son into being like him. So we get that sort of side story as well. And they go to this, I call it the Giallo Hospital.
Yeah.
Like, it's got the creepiest Giallo lights throughout. I'm not sure if I'd want to go to that hospital.
Yeah. Long sterile hallways with nobody in them,
I know. It's just like a weird lit parts of the hospital with red walls and the elevator, like it's the Shining elevator. You could see production design, they're having a little bit of fun with making, adding their own little creepy element to it. But yeah, and I think as much as I hate Lexi, I guess that's the whole point of this storyline, is seeing her arc going from just totally asshole character to less of an asshole character. I'm not sure. I don't really see her character like, oh, I like puppies and cuteness. I just see her at least becoming cognizant of some of her actions and how much of a jerk she is. Although I'm sure she gets it a little bit from her mom.
It might be.
But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's got some really great. I mean, and even we get this sort of like Little Rascals flashback stuff.
Oh yes,
which I just kept thinking Little Rascals the whole time.
Ouch.
And no, I'm just saying it in a good way.
I totally
they just like
think
they're
so
just
too,
whack.
yeah.
I mean, come on.
Like when they were marching down to
Yes,
go see, yeah,
Plus
totally.
that one kid had his hair out way back. I mean, it's just like it just felt like some kind of weird little goofy kid flashback. And then also just I kind of like the moments with Chucky as well. He has some really funny moments. Especially after you see what happened to him after the fire. There's a really interesting moment between him and a person he kills that's very entertaining. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this, and I mean, it's still doing a really good job of telling its story. Although I will say, I'm starting to realize Jake makes that same face all the time, like,
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Well, like he's
this sort of like angry, pouty face. He's started to do it a little bit too much, to where if you did a drinking game, you would have alcohol poisoning.
Oh yeah.
But overall, yeah, I'm really enjoying this show. I never thought the Chucky show would be as entertaining and sort of fun as it is. It sort of walks that line of having a little bit of humor, having some really crazy deaths, and also just moving the story along, because it's kind of hard to do like any kind of slasher type stuff over a concentrated series. So, but yeah, I'm loving it.
yeah, they got their formula down pat. One kill a week is what we're getting. And yeah, this one, we'll get to it in a little bit. So it's the reasoning behind the kill is delightful. Okay, confession, if you haven't heard this already 3 times, did not expect a Chucky TV series going to SYFY to be any damn good. And it is absolutely quite good and might actually be closing in to being my favorite of the Chucky series. I am really enjoying this. I'm enjoying, I enjoy the, the every week of it and seeing something new. It's really fun. And I'm glad it's not, all at once and, binging it. I like waiting this week and enjoying it so much and enjoying the pacing, enjoying the characters. There's a surprisingly strong amount of character work in this particular episode, which I think is part of what makes it feel different. There's a lot more of that. It kind of slows down a little bit to do that. We get just about every character gets a moment of character progression, and I respect that, and I think it's rewarding because I think we're growing to like these kids, even the ones that we don't like, right? No, well, except one. And there's also, compared to last week, there's a surprising little amount of Chucky this week.
I know.
They were reserved with Chucky, but when Chucky's on board, it pays off. I'm all about this. I really love it. I recommend it highly, and I'm having a great time with it. It is absolutely so much fun.
Well, yeah, and I think they're also doing a pretty good.
Yes.
I mean, and also having the detective embroiled in it as well, because her kid's part of this whole thing. It really creates an interesting, problem, I guess. Especially that whole confrontation in the break area of the hospital and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I'm really enjoying the hell out of it, and just how they're sort of telling the story and how it's moving along, because you're kind of wondering, like, what how they're going to deal with Chucky next. And also we get these sort of interesting flashbacks to sort of learning a little bit more as is it Charles Lee Ray, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right? How he sort of became who he is little by little, and how along the way he's just creating these little mini serial killers, which is like, oh god. And also it kind of ruins Peter Pan for some people too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love it. I mean, it's a really twisted show that takes it in directions that some shows probably would never have the balls to do. And at the same time, it has an element of humor, has some interesting wacky characters at times, but also has a little bit of heart too. So I'm like, I'm loving the weekly thing. I think binging it, I don't think wouldn't have helped. I don't think, because I think you need to digest it a little bit.
The cop, she's pissing me off. Like, to me, it's totally inappropriate for her to freaking be accosting poor little Jake and trying to interrogate him without an adult present. It makes me sick, actually. It really does piss me off, because I'm like, if that was my son, I would sue the freaking hell out of that police department. I mean, they might as well just give me the key to the city because I would freaking own their butts. Like, that's so inappropriate of her. And I just feel like it's dirty and underhanded. And I think she's trying to figure it out. But I also think, like, I don't think any good cop would go after a child like that. They're children. They're 14 years old.
You do realize there's a killer doll in this.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm taking it too
That's
seriously.
one thing you can't believe.
I'm taking it too seriously.
Yeah.
That's the one thing you have a problem with. The
that's
cop
a
is not
really-
following procedure. But God
a
forbid you
really
should have
good
a half-charred doll killing people with hypodermic needles. That's realistic.
Touche. Yeah, that's kind of.
Well, what I liked about that conversation was that she was drilling towards, what did she say? All roads lead back to Chucky, the doll. But
Right.
she wasn't believing it yet. But now, we're in spoilers right now.
Yes, we are in spoilers.
Her son, Devon, knows that
Yep.
Chucky is real. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops.
Well, it'd be interesting to think maybe she already believes in the Chucky stuff, or maybe she has some kind of connection to it. That would be kind of interesting. Instead of having the adults like believe, the doll's not going to come to life, but it'd be kind of interesting if that ended up being the case. But I don't know. I guess we'll have to see if that's where they take it.
Yeah, because she does name drop Chucky a lot in this episode. She's all about where Chucky is. Was Chucky there? Even if he was, even if Jake wasn't, right? So I think she suspects, and it would be cool that if she had some kind of previous knowledge of it before, because it was local stuff. So for them,
Christopher, that you mentioned our gang, and I didn't realize it, but oh my goodness, that the one kid that he gives the hand to. is kind of like Spanky. The kid with the hair is kind of like Buckwheat, and the teenage Charles Lee Ray actually looks a little bit like Alfalfa. If you,
Yeah, he does.
I know that.
I'm like going,
when I
whoa!
saw that, they were even like shooting like an old timey movie.
yeah.
And the whole time I'm thinking, this is like reminds me of the Little Rascals, but like I'm more like. Actually, it'd be a kind of Little Rascals I would probably enjoy watching.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the Little Rascals, but just if the Little Rascals were all demented little shits falling around like some killer, I mean.
Ooh. Yeah.
But yeah, I almost felt like it was on purpose, I guess. At least to me. So I'm glad I'm not the only one that was crazy enough to think that. For those of us that are old enough to know who the Little Rascals are.
I think that he absolutely did it. Like, I think that was on purpose. It had to be, because I thought it too. I was like, they're kind of like marching there with their little, I could imagine them with like 10 bucket hats on and stuff or something. I don't know. So silly.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, let's talk about Jake's big moment here where he's on, they will go back to the house and the burnt house, and they're looking for the remains of Chucky, and there's a slip up, and he can either drop Lexi or save Lexi. And of course, he's getting egged on by Chucky. What did we think of that? Jeff, was this a pretty big moment for Jake, the character?
Yeah, absolutely. That was where he had to choose, right? I guess between the dark side and the
dark and the light.
Use the knife.
Well, somewhere there was the episode that I watched had this thing tacked on with interviews with Don Mancini and the cast and crew and stuff.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And actually, Lexi did that stunt. They
wow.
had her hanging by wires, and the stunt coordinator worked with her and did practice sessions and stuff.
Good for her.
Or that actress. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, it was definitely. It probably wasn't a far enough fall for her to do much more than break her leg, but
yeah,
except for
but
Chucky
still
standing there with his knife
yeah.
for her to. Anyway,
I thought you meant if she was the fall during the stunt, but you mean the character, right?
No, I mean within the story.
Yeah.
I didn't mean that. I mean, she had no danger of falling. I mean, they had like, I don't know how many wires they had on her. At least 3 that I saw, cables.
Yeah, and Crystal, come on, because Lexi is such a biatch, that makes his decision that much more poignant, doesn't it?
Well, I don't want Jake to kill Lexi. I don't want him to kill Lexi. I want Chucky to kill her because Jake is still sweet and innocent. I like the innocence he still has. We all think bad things. Like, have I thought that I couldn't stand someone's face? Abso-freaking-lutely. Have I thought I would love to stab that face? Of course I have, but I don't do it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But Chucky would.
That was supposed to be funny. No, like being all serious. I'm like, oh God. Am I coming in and out? Is that why I'm not like
a little bit?
Yeah. Freezing a little
we
bit.
can hear you, but you're freezing up.
No.
But
I never think about doing something like that. I just do it.
There we go. Yeah.
Although, we talk about like characters doing stupid stuff. I'm not sure if I would take that doll to that little girl. Half of its face
I
is melted
know,
off.
but he wasn't the smartest
Oh,
cookie in the
no,
batch. Was
no.
it?
Yeah. That was definitely
No.
crossing my mind.
I
Although
love
he
the
does-
idea that
He deserved to die because he's smacking his mouth too much eating.
I know. I love that Chucky's pissed off because he stole all those cookies from
He was
girl
great
in
in
the
the
hospital. I couldn't stand it anymore.
I just can't take it anymore.
But Chucky's face is half melted. So Dave, pipe in here because you're the special effects guy. How are the animatronics in this particular episode? Do they live up?
I think they're great. I think they're the best they've ever been myself. I really think they look better than the movies. Been a while since I've seen the movies, though, so I'm saying that kind of off the top of my head here. But I think they're very very believable if you can believe a doll walks around.
I can.
Now,
This week's kill was great. I love this week's kill. I thought it was right up, like you said, we're only getting the 1 kill a week, but this one was pretty memorable.
Doc didn't like it, did you, Doc? You weren't crazy about
I wasn't crazy about the weapons choosing, but his determination to make it work really paid off.
well, but that's the thing. If it's making the person suffer, he's all about that.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, what is more uncomfortable, getting stabbed like 2 fistful of dirty used syringes into your chest?
Yeah. That's
But
even grosser, yeah.
I think my only issue with why would blood come out your fingernails? Is that
That did make a lot of sense. Yeah.
I figured it had something to do.
I'm not sure you'd bleed out that much from. I don't care how many syringes you stick in. They don't make that big of a hole.
Unless it was like something in the syringes. But
That's
that was
what
the
I
only thing-
thought. That's what I thought.
That was the only thing I was like, what? I mean, it's a cool thing.
It was coming out of his mouth, his ears, his eyes. His
There's a lot of
fingernails.
syringes in there.
Some super blood thinner.
Stigmata syringes.
Super blood thinner.
Stigmata. Oh my
But
God.
it looked cool. It looked cool. You got to give it that much.
It did.
If you don't ask any questions, it looked good.
If you don't ask any questions, it looked good. Okay, so let's all comment about the final scene. There's only one thing we can all say all at once. I hope you guys are reading my mind, but the final scene goes. And that you said, Christopher, before the show that it just killed you. You had
I was laughing so hard during that scene because he's gonna react because he's like lumped over like this, and all of a sudden you just like look up.
and their reaction helped sell it, didn't it?
But did you read any subtext into that? Is that him? I kind of read that as Chucky telling Jake, like, fuck you. Because, he doesn't come over to the Chucky side. Mm-hmm. So now I think Jake's on the shit list, too.
Oh, totally.
Well,
none of them are safe.
Well, now that all of them know that he's, real.
Alive.
Because now the detective's son as well.
Yep.
Because they all saw that. Although it's kind of interesting, he could do that, and all the adults like, boo, let me turn my back away.
Well, they were arguably
for
well
real.
distracted by
Well,
a
yeah,
bleeding
by
out
the
body
dead
on the
body,
floor.
but still, I think,
Body
I
and
think
the little girl coding. Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, well, there was a lot going
Yeah.
on.
although I was kind of wondering the reason maybe the detective thinks that is wondering about Chucky is maybe also thinking that the little girl might have stabbed Oliver, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking it.
I don't know. All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Let's give it our final thoughts, our score, 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. We can't choose that one.
Oh
because-
God! How dare you? How
Because we-
dare
You know what, Doc?
you?
You know what,
We'll
Doc?
all choose that.
Yeah,
We'll all choose
I
that.
got a scene for you. I got two
Got a scene for
scenes.
you. All right, Crystal, you're first.
Jeez. Okay, so obviously I still love the show. This wasn't my favorite episode, but it was very pleasurable. That sounds awkward. I don't know how I feel about that. Okay.
Whoa!
But
Whatever
it was
turns you
still
on is what they say.
really great to watch. Yay! I'm still gonna give it. It's at a 4 still. I mean, it's gonna have to take a lot probably for it to be bumped down. I loved that the detective got it, and obviously my favorite scene is I can't stand your. He's like, I'm sorry, but I just can't stand your face. And I'm like, when I heard that, I was like, I totally get it. I understand. I totally understand that. Yeah, just those people that you're like, I just cannot stand your face. Yeah, I mean, it happens. It must be a chemistry thing. I don't know.
I love it. That's great. That's a great pick. Dave, you're up next. Your final thoughts, your score, favorite scene.
Yeah, I think I would say this episode is on par. I've been kind of hit and miss on these reviews. I'm kind of doing every other one here, but I've watched all 4 of them, and I think
Yay.
they've been strong all the way across the board. So I believe my last one I gave a 4. I'm going to give this one a 4 as well. I'm curious to see where they head with this. And my favorite scene, kind of a dumb one, but it just made me laugh. And I again, kind of telegraphed what was going on. But when that cop was eating the donut over top of Chucky and the powdered sugar was falling on his head, I was like, oh man, he's so dead.
I was like,
I
oh
know.
no.
I was like, all right, I know who's
You
getting
knew
killed
what was
this
going to
week.
happen, yep.
It's done. That
was
just killed
great.
me. The powdered
And
sugar.
then he takes a bite of cookie and then puts the cookie back. In
I
the
know.
I know, what a jerk. God, he's a
Back in the
jerk.
box. Oh, he
The
deserved
poor
that.
little girl.
Well, I was totally with whoever said it. I think it was like, I got to get this doll to take back that little girl wants. I'm like, are you kidding me? No way would you just walk that into the room and give it to her without.
But wouldn't it be evidence? I mean, come on, in a real world,
Yeah.
it'd be like locked up in a evidence locker somewhere.
Well, and that's one of the great things about Chucky, because he's in this fight for life and death, with Lexi hanging by her fingers, and as soon as the cop walks in, he just plops down and he's a
He does Toy Story on us, yeah.
So I'll give it a 4 too, and I'm really enjoying this. I would have never watched this if it weren't for you, Doc, putting this on the list.
I've heard that a lot. I've heard that a lot.
Well, that
Sometimes
could go
it's-
both ways, right?
I know. Sometimes it's with a very angry face. Damn it, I never would have done this. All right.
Favorite scene, I'm going to take where the ball rolls down the hallway, just because it reminded me of The Shining.
Yeah, I think that's
nice.
what, yeah. Mhm.
And then when you later on you find out, you get all tense. Oh, what is that? Who did that? Blah, blah. It's just a mother and a kid and the ball.
Yep.
But anyway, I think there's a lot of those little throwbacks that are sort of out of place that we don't actually catch.
I bet.
Anyway,
I bet. Christopher G. Mohr, sir, your final thoughts, your score, favorite scene.
Well, I mean, yeah, we have like the red inside the elevator, so I know that was a Shining reference right there. Yeah, you know what? I really enjoyed this episode. I had a few problems with the last episode. I felt like some of the Chucky motions and stuff didn't work in certain scenes, but in this one, it works perfectly how they sort of meld the different forms. Because there's one part where you're underneath the hospital bed and you can see like his little feet. It's like probably a little person, and so just how they work all the different ways to sort of make him come to life. And if they do not make a doll with that melted side face, I want one of those, because it's so kind of, I mean, it's like drooping and it's so like
One
gross
eye's
but
kind of
cool. Yeah, it's so
it's like
freaking
down.
cool. I mean, to me, that's probably one of the best sort of mutated Chucky things. I know they have the ones where he's got like sewed together and stuff, but this one is like so cool. They better make some limited edition or make a doll of that, because I will buy that up. But yeah, I think it's a fun episode. And again, we're sort of moving the story along. We were sort of creating new weird friendships, between Lexi and Jake, where he doesn't give into the dark side, and to Darth Chucky. But yeah, I love some of the hospital stuff. And I love that we're sort of getting like these weird type of kills every episode. Even if it's not the most conventional way to kill someone, it's the way that you can make people suffer. And also like the little bit of the little tidbits of the backstory that we get. I mean, because really, not only is this about Chucky, it's just about the person that body's Chucky, and we sort of get in some horror type stuff, we don't really want that backstory. But this guy was a crazy killer before all this stuff happened. So it's kind of interesting to see just how maniacal and crazy batshit this guy was, and how along the way he's created probably a lot of killers that grew up to be killers because of him. So he's like creating his own like weird spawn of maniacal people. So, I don't know. I'll give this a 4.25. I really.
Oh wow!
I kind of liked the aspect. Well, I think just the way it ends.
Oh my god, the ending is perfect.
It's a 4.25 just for that.
Absolutely.
If the series had ended with that, I would have been bravo.
Nicely done. Right?
So, if I can't pick the end scene, SOB, I will. Let's see. You know what? I'll pick the Darth Vader scene. Killer, you need to be more powerful than you can. No, but I kind of like that. I mean, it's one of those action scenes that sort of people have to make a choice about how their life is going, and he was not really born to be a killer. He was, Chucky was trying to manipulate him. So I kind of like the way that scene was, and just Chucky, who's, if you think about it, he's just a little doll while running around with a knife, but he's like
trying to jump at Kidner.
Yeah, and he's like manipulative, and it's like, even though he's like a little short, it's like I kept like, ooh, pull your feet up, woman.
I know.
Because you just got to pull your feet up probably a little bit, like a couple of inches. He might not be able to, because it's like. Although I kind of want him to scoot a chair over.
Oh my god, that would have been hilarious.
But yeah, I mean, if I can't pick the very end scene, which is my favorite, the end scene is my favorite thing out of all the series so far, I'll pick that specific scene, because it's also a nice little character moment too.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm being so unfair. I'm not allowing, but it's too obvious, right? I absolutely love this series. Like, this episode was a lot of fun. It doesn't have the same feel as the first two episodes, but it's like Christopher said, the Chucky moments are a little better than this one, and of course it has some really good character moments. To me, it's just a great episode of the series, and I'm still floored that we're sitting here talking about the Chucky. We were almost going to let it slide by. We just wanted to do the first one, and then we all loved it so much. We got to keep this up. We got to see where it's going, and that says a lot in and of itself, because there's a lot on our plate to watch, and we've got to make time for this. And it's rewarding to do so. So I'm going to give it a 4.0 as well. 4.25 for the one scene, if not more. Absolutely. And my favorite scene, Jeff mentioned it, but I really love the Toy Story moment where the cop comes in and Chucky just immediately flops down and becomes a toy again. And we really I don't know if we've ever really seen him do that. And it seems like they should have all along, right? It was just really wonderfully done and so quick. And the scene that brought it on was Christopher's scene, and it was just a nice little capper to it. I enjoyed that, and then he picks it up and carries it away, and the cop carries it back like, dumbass, you're gonna die, and he did.
Yeah.
You know, the whole time they're yelling at him. No, no.
I know. He's like, why aren't you? What did you do? You took the doll out first, and he came back and got the kids. But who trains this guy?
Well, at first I thought, yeah. Where did he put the doll? I guess in the front seat.
He put the doll in the front
Probably.
seat.
That's what I thought.
But okay, we all laugh, but wouldn't we all do the same thing? I mean, it's a doll.
Probably.
It's a doll.
I hate to
You'd be
admit
like,
it,
it's
probably.
ugly.
Now,
but I guess
now,
if she
if he
wants
tried
it.
to interrogate them in the back of the car, that would have been so unrealistic.
It would.
One Chucky ending coming your way. All right. That's our review of Chucky episode 4. Wait a week, and we're going to be doing episode 5 again.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Jeff, Dave, Crystal, thank you for joining me. And Christopher, thank you for joining us as well.
Yay.
As our guest host, we might have to wedge in some room to make you a regular.
Uh-oh.
I think Chucky agrees.
Ah, nice.
Oh, my God. I want one. I'm sad.
Oh, no. All right. Let's say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Gruesome Magazine.